What's going on, guys? I am here to give you an update on the Kayak Adventure Series presented by GoPro, the Fiesta on the Susky coming up this weekend. So if you're looking to register or already have registered, you will love to hear this update. So we're going to actually extend the boundaries a little bit to give you guys a little bit more water in balance and a few lakes in balance as well, flat water, just in case. I mean, trust me, when you get done with this video, you might be more amped up and excited to get to this event because the rising water is actually going to make it incredible for fishing. It's going to put us at the water levels like May or early June when the fish are chewing the best and it positions the fish and there's a little bit of stain in the water. It's going to give us that opportunity, but the water's not going to be 60 degrees. You know what I mean? It's going to be, or 65 or whatever it is at that point. It's going to be nice and warm. We can still get out and wade. It's not going to be, so high we can't get out and do a lot of the Kayak Adventure Series stuff we love to do. So let me get to the boundaries first. We're going to extend the boundaries further west up the Chemung River, the Tioga, some other tributaries, west and north a little bit, just to, make sure. I mean, we don't know. The weatherman could be wrong. We could get way more than they predict. If we get what they predict now, it's going to be like perfect. Trust me. But if it's wrong, we always want to err on the side of safety for you guys. If it's wrong, we want to make sure we have this extra water in balance, and it's all still about an hour away, which is kind of what we, where we like to limit you guys anyway. So let me quickly share my screen and show you what we're going to do here. Share my entire screen. It'll look like Inception for a second. So here we go. This is our Towanda Kayak Adventure Series map, right? And we used to have around Corning, there was a upstream boat ramp, like a launch boundary on the Chemung River. But because the rain is coming and it's more going to hit over here kind of to the east and south, right? Which really isn't going to affect us too much. But if it gets a pouring in some of the areas of the, we have a lot of water imbalance. We have a lot of water imbalance just for this exact reason, for a weather system to come through. There's no way it's going to affect our entire watershed. It's probably nearly 200 miles, especially now that we extended this, of water that's in bounds, rivers and creeks that are in play. So if you just learn how to read river gauges, which I'll get to in a little bit here, you're going to be able to find some fishable water, even if some areas may not be fishable to your comfort. So, if you zoom in over here, this was the old launch boundary right here, this boat ramp, okay? We're making this change now. On Tuesday, we're updating the entire field and posting this so you guys all know. Again, due to safety, we're going to extend it because basically this river ends up going just a little bit further west and then goes straight south. The Tioga does, at least. And then parts of it, of course, continues north into the west. We don't want to get you guys further than an hour away. So we have an upstream launch boundary on the Cohocton River right here, which is actually a tributary off the Chemung. As you can see, it comes in right here. And there's even a creek that's big enough to float here. I think it's called Meads Creek right here. We put a launch boundary on it as well, this bridge. So if you're going to fish either of those, that's as far upstream and to the north and to the west as you can go. It's for in terms of launching. You can, of course, fish further upstream. Obviously, you're not going to get that far, but you can go as far as you want to go from that launch point. Now, you go upstream, the Tioga River, as you can see, does start to head south. It's in towards Pennsylvania again, and the headwaters are actually in Pennsylvania. Before we get there, the Canisteo River comes in. And again, we don't want you guys going further than an hour away, so we're going to stop you guys at this launch boundary right here at this bridge, Indian Hills Road, upstream on the Canisteo. You can continue further up that river. If you want to launch there, that's fine, but you can fish any of the Tioga River, Tioga, upstream, right here, all the way, because again, it just parallels this highway, which makes it easy for you guys to get back. And right at Mansfield, you can take Highway 6 and go straight across to Towanda. So easy drive to get back as well. You notice I have 3 lakes marked here. There is a lake called Tioga Reservoir. There's also a lake called Hammond Lake right here. Together, that's about 1,000 acres of lake. And if you go up here, I'm not going to say this right, but Kawanesk Lake is also in bounds, and that is a 1,000-acre lake. So that's 2,000 acres of flat water right there. If for some crazy reason, right, that we get blown out in this entire watershed, which is not going to happen, it's going to be perfect. But just so you know, again, the Chemung, I'm not trying to push people one way or the other. I mean, I think the main river is going to be perfect. I think the North Branch over by Binghamton, that whole section is going to be awesome. But just so you know, the confluence of the Chemung River and the North Branch of the Susquehanna, which they're in similar size. I would say, you know, the Chemung's about a third of the size of the North Branch when they meet. So a lot of water is definitely coming in. But from that point all the way up the Chemung, just to the original launch in Corning, the original launch boundary before we extended it, was 36 miles. 36 miles of water that's not going to be hardly affected at all by this rain, or not affected much. And now we've added in probably another 30 miles when you go to the Tioga and you go up these other ones of river. So you're talking like 70 miles of water, guys, that's going to be in play that is not even going to be affected by this rain. And that's not even counting all the other parts of the Susquehanna. And just so you know, I talked to, I'll change it over here to the river gauges real quick. I talked to Keith at Endless Mountain Outfitters. Okay. That's it around Wyalusing area, I believe. But Keith at Endless Mountain Outfitters, he said he likes the gauge in Towanda to be at 2 to flow people. I mean, the perfect level's 2, but he doesn't put people. And I say people, I mean like just people that are novices that he just throws in recreational kayaks and floats them down the river. He doesn't want people on the river. He doesn't put people on the river when it gets to 4. Right now it's at 1.84, the height. You can click over here and see this. So it's going to crest at 2. It's anticipated to crest at 2 here and then head back down. And I'll show you how I know that here in a minute. But so it's at 1.84, and he prefers it at 2 or a little bit over 2. And then he says that if you have it around 2 or a little bit above 2, even a little bit below 2 in that range, you can get around a lot of the side channels and islands and places like that normally you'd be dragging, you couldn't even go through and you couldn't even fish through. And now you can float right through them. So if you go upstream, the next gauge, you can see in Sayre, you can look at the height there. And you can see that it's already cresting and starting to come down. So just upstream, the next gauge, you can see that, you know, it's not going to rise much more in Towanda. It might hit 2, maybe. We actually would love it to hit 2, to be in between 2 and 3 for the event would be perfect. But right now you can just see that it's just not that much, guys. So going back over here, you can see what's happening. You can go up and see, you know, Binghamton, you can click on that gauge. This is the River Data app. You can get it on your phone. It just pulls in the USGS gauges. So it's coming down. It just had a little quick small bump, a little small slug of water. It's coming down in Binghamton as well. So not a lot happening. Not a lot's coming our way. Go up. You can see Elmira. There's a gauge on the Chemung River here. So look at this one. You can see it's at 1.35 feet. So let's look at this gauge. And let me zoom in. You can say, wow, some spiking going on. Oh my goodness. If you don't like have a trained eye, if you have an untrained eye to river gauges, you might look at this and think, well, wow, it's spiking up. But look over here at the numbers. The gauge height in the water is at 1.10 feet. Like, so in other words, if you went right where that gauge was, you would stand in the water and the water would be at your ankles. Okay. And that spike, that, whoa, big spike here. Yeah. That's another, not even a half a foot of water. So 0.40. So not a half a foot of water. So where before it might have been at your ankles, now it might be just a little bit above your ankles. It's not much, guys. It hasn't moved much at all. And you can always look at the cubic feet per second as well. And this median gauge is a pretty good. It's only this gauge right here has only been around for 14 years, it says, but most of them have been around a lot longer. The median around this part of the rivers looks like it's kind of around like 500. And right now it's at, you know, it looks like 600. So it's like barely even above the median. We would love to see it for fishermen above the median and have a little flow. So we're not paddling through the slow sections and the wind isn't blowing us upstream and the water's not so clear. And, you know, it just helps the bite big time. So that's kind of the update, guys. I don't really know a lot more to say other than I think it's going to be incredible, and we're in for a serious godsend, a blessing in disguise, because we're going to be fishing this water at the levels like it is in May and June when it's awesome, and you're moving down the river a little bit. Like I said, a little bit of stain, which helps you catch the fish. You don't have to be so spooky. If you're doing float trips, you're going to be able to go down and not have to paddle to work downstream or fight wind. You're going to be still moving a little bit, And it's going to just be a much more enjoyable experience to be there on the water when it's like this. So I'm excited about it. I know a lot of anglers are really excited about it. If you go back and watch Jeff Little's most recent videos, YouTube video on the rising water on the Susquehanna down a little bit further downstream, and if you go back and watch my video, I just posted it today. You know, we had rising water for the Bassmaster Kayak Series on the Susquehanna, and it just gave it a little bit of stain. It just turns the fish on. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be a ton of fun. If you're on the fence, just wait. We extended we're extending that registration deadline, like I said, all the way until Friday. I believe I said this already, but if not, Friday at the end of the Bass U brunch, so around 12:30, that's when we're going to extend the registration deadline, just if anybody is a little bit concerned or on the fence. But hopefully after seeing this and seeing how we extended that boundary further west on that river and north and have those 3 lakes. Actually, I forgot to pull in. There's one more lake that I did forget to show you guys, I believe, on this recording that I will share right now that is going to be in bounds. Let me go back and share that. It's called Spring Lake. And I will go find it right now. There we go. So Spring Lake, did forget to show this to you guys, is right here. So in Wyalusing, Spring Lake is 58 acres. So it's small, but it's not, that small. There's probably 5 fish in there that would help somebody. Spring Lake, there's a little pay box right here. I believe you put in this ramp here area there. There's a pay box is what I'm being told. So you might have to go scout it out and find out where that pay box is, but you can do research on it. Google it, Spring Lake, Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. It's a public lake eligible to fish as well. So we'll have that one in bounds. So that is 4 lakes in bounds and all the extra water. So I think we're going to have a great event. Can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a ton of fun. And don't forget to get your GoPro, record, because we want to share your videos at the Keystone Theater, and just let's have some fun with it, guys. It's what the Kayak Adventure Series is all about. It's going to be an adventure, and this one might be a little bit of rain, a little bit of rising water, but I think it's going to clear up by Saturday, and most of the day Saturday should be perfect and a lot of fun. So we'll see you guys there. I'm leaving out right now, so see ya.